He is a young
I
teenager.
became a Nazi because I was replaced by.
I like how he chose to go live right before.
Damn it!
He started saying this out of.
Give the
Can someone
context.
isolate that audio clip of I think you became a Nazi?
No, you give the context because otherwise it's going to look real bad. Please, Doug.
Okay, I was asking because we restarted our numbers. I was making a Marvel joke, and I was asking if Matt was now a Nazi or if he was being replaced by a black woman, possibly. And he said, "No, look, I became a Nazi," and that's when Chris chose
Hey,
to start the episode.
I hit the start broadcast button before we got to that point.
Could we?
Yeah,
Sure you did.
Okay.
but it takes a second to actually start.
Mm-hmm.
So what season? What season are we in? Is this season 5?
This is like season 6 or something. 4, 5, or 6. How many times have we renumbered, Chris?
At least 3.
So this is season 4.
Season 4 or 5, I think.
Okay.
Let's call it season 4.
Let's call it season Saki.
It's season Saki.
No, it's not.
No.
No.
It's the year of sock.
It's the year of the sock.
It's the year of the sock. We're Chinese now.
No, stop. I'm bad.
Ow!
Oh, we salute you.
Saki, they're our biggest market. We can't alienate them.
The year of the sock.
I thought our biggest, market was Azerbaijan, Chris.
Also,
No, wait. According to the Matrix, Azerbaijan is our biggest market. So
Followed by Qatar.
yeah, they're trying to learn English badly.
No, like when we first started, Chris would look at the iTunes metrics, and we would be getting, or was it the Libsyn metrics? I forgot what.
Libsyn metrics.
And we would be getting downloads and listens in Azerbaijan and Qatar. And we pretty much assumed it was because it's some form of military base there where people were downloading podcasts to kill the time.
Or it's just a bot to say everything off the internet.
I don't know.
Oh man, we got a lot to talk about. So guys, how was your Infinity War?
phenomenal.
It was amazing.
Okay, real quick, before we get into the crux of the conversation, can we just appreciate the fact that the Russos managed to fit that many characters into a movie and have it make coherent sense?
Yeah.
Like,
Very impressive.
I mean, then you look at what they did with Spider-Man 3 and adding a second villain derailed that movie on the quick.
Yeah.
And what was it? X-Men 3 like derailed on the quick, and the Russo brothers is like, nah, we got this. No,
Well, I think they figured out also what Nolan figured out for Dark Knight, which is that the villain is the lead.
yeah.
Like because if you try to make any of the Avengers your story carrying person, the whole movie falls apart, because then we're wondering why we're not focusing more on somebody else, or like everything just collapses because under the weight of trying to make the Avengers lead characters. But if Thanos is the lead, that's it. It's done. Thanos has a bunch of antagonists that
That he has to go through.
fight in order to get his goal accomplished. It's really difficult because there's like a ton of them. But he's very determined.
And I'm still thinking that like this whole thing, the whole Marvel universe started with Tony, and it's going to end with Tony.
Well, this version, right?
Yeah, this version of the Marvel universe is Iron Man is so important to the victory of the Avengers. So it's that's all I got.
I think I want to say, in addition to balancing everyone who had their work done in their previous movies, I think that we really need to give a lot of credit to Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Motion capping and voicing Thanos.
that was just an amazing performance, and I'm so excited about his cable.
Like
I keep forgetting he's
been
Cable.
a really great performer. I mean, at least post Goonies, all of his movies have shown him to be a really powerful. He's got a great range vocally and like can change his appearance and everything. My thing is just it was how benevolent he made Thanos.
Yeah.
It's like a true believer in what he's doing, and like
It's very Killmonger-esque in the sense that he came from a place of tragedy, and he was so determined that his path was the correct one.
Yeah.
You know what else struck me is that he was done the way an accurate Ozymandias should have been.
Yes.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
About what he has to do the right thing. Like, this is obviously the right path. I thought about it real hard, and it's gonna suck.
It's gonna be.
But once I rip that Band-Aid off, everything gets better.
Yeah.
That's the exact way I like. My problem with the Watchmen movie was that he looked like he was twirling his mustache the entire time. He basically just looked like what Hitler wished he looked like, and he was acting like he was evil the whole movie.
Very difficult.
And it's like
to twirl.
he should have been like so sad, and then you're surprised that like what felt like the moral center of the movie is the villain. You know what I mean? And so that's what Thanos felt like. It's like he's the guy. He's kind of weirdly right in a way.
Yeah.
It's his methodology. I think like is the thing. Like Killmonger kind of does set you up for that feeling of being like, oh yeah, this is a guy who's, because of his background, has been convinced this is the right path, and then takes all these shitty ways to get there.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't care about any of the middle.
So instead of talking about all the really sad stuff about Infinity War, what about all the really happy, awesome things that happened in that movie?
Oh, you mean like all the memes that came out of it?
Oh.
I gotta tell you, the internet has been a delight.
Well, it has been a delight about it, but I just want to say Spider-Man was amazing.
I agree. I think my favorite.
That new suit is dope.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange was Doctor Strange in the movie.
I forgot. I was pleasantly surprised at how much Doctor Strange was in the movie.
Yeah, and how Doctor Strange he was.
Yes.
And Thor and Rabbit was the best combination.
No, having Tyrion freaking Lannister in it was the best.
Oh yeah.
I have to admit, I giggled when I saw what Peter Dinklage was doing.
Yeah.
Chris,
Fun.
I got a question.
That would have been a thing that I was waiting to find out.
I didn't even know that was happening.
Nobody did. That was one secret they got to keep.
I was like, oh, cool. All right.
Hey, quick question for you guys.
Yeah.
What's Thanos' favorite Powerpuff Girl?
Oh no.
It's
The
Bubble.
Bubbles? Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I
At
was
least he has a sense of whimsy about him.
I was amazed by the actual moments from comics that came in that I just wasn't expecting anything.
Yeah,
there's
a
a couple
lot.
of big accurate moments, and then there's the Bubbles thing, which isn't that literally like a power he has in one of the videos. Like one of the phone games, he turns stuff into bubbles.
I think it's interesting that of all the things he could have done, he chose to turn them into bubbles. It kind of shows a kind of like a wry humor to him.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great because it was basically just a giant middle finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can we talk about how Star-Lord ruined the universe for everyone?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Star-Lord is the Poe Dameron of this movie. But he doesn't do. Look,
But he's not necessarily wrong.
way more
Like,
understandable
yeah.
now. Like,
No, and that's the thing.
yeah,
Like,
he
very
ruined
human
everything.
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
He acted like a
Injured.
person who, was kidnapped when he was 12
Yeah.
and raised in space.
Right. And he loses his mom, his dad, his father, and now his girlfriend.
Yeah.
All in the span of like 2 movies.
Can he really be that sad when he's rocking a Zune? I mean, is that the real question?
It's not his fault. It's
They
not
were-
his fault that he got a Zune.
They were inches away from winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. They almost had it.
You know what? If you want to complain about that, then you could have just as easily complained about Scarlet Witch not wanting to kill her boyfriend.
Right off the bat. Yeah.
Right.
Sure. I'll do that all day.
Thor not going for the head.
Yeah.
That was probably the most badass moment of the movie.
Oh, yeah. It was
Thor
amazing.
comes down and you're like, oh my God, did they do it? And then you think he's going to I don't know what, and then he just says you should have aimed for the head. And I'm just like, oh, God damn, it's so cool.
I thought the Thor fan in me really loves the fact that they made Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that it's a fucking Groot arm. Like that is.
Yeah.
Hey, you Wong in chat. Welcome. We feel like it's been 2 weeks, so we can now discuss Infinity War. So we hope you've seen it. If not,
Get to the movies.
yeah,
Get to it now.
giving you a heads up.
There were so many spoilers all over the internet like a day after.
I managed to avoid them. Did you guys manage to avoid
I
them?
managed to avoid them as well.
We saw it premiere night.
Yeah, but you know, it doesn't matter. They've had like the actual premiere, and then Europe saw it early.
So yeah, so let me ask you guys. You know, we made our list of Marvel movies a little earlier in the year, in the last season. So where, like, top 5, top 10, where are we thinking Infinity War falls?
Oh, top 5 for me.
Top 5, easy.
This phase 3 of Marvel movies have consistently blown me away. There has not been a bad one in this entire phase.
I feel like with this is a top 5 movie, but I also feel like this has made Doctor Strange a better movie. I know how crazy that sounds, but I think
it improves the character because he finally gets that.
I rewatched Doctor Strange the other night, and I liked it a lot more than I did the first time around.
Accent still sucks.
I thought it was better in this one. Yeah. Or I was used to it. Something like that. One of the two.
You got used to it.
Yeah. The Doctor Strange, like getting to see him use that power and the weird effects that they had built up in Doctor Strange, the film, against Thanos was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Like the sequence where he's actually attacking him and they do all that weird Inception kaleidoscope shit was great. I love that when Thanos used the stone from the Eye of Agamemnon, it still made the sigil in the air.
Yeah.
So like they kept their sort of properties even in the glove. But it's top 5 for me. But I think it's not over to me. Like that's the midpoint of a 5-hour movie. So
yeah, like I think and I've mentioned this before, but this was almost a 3-hour film. And the mark for me of a good movie is that you don't even notice you've been watching it that long.
Yeah, it never felt long at any moment to me.
Now, my question is...
I felt sad it was over. That's all.
Exactly. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Just to move the conversation along, if you could name one moment, it doesn't have to be the best moment, just one of your favorite moments of the movie, and followed by your favorite character from the film. It doesn't have to be the same person from your moment, but go. Saki can go first.
I like the fact that Black Widow actually looked powerful. Don't make fun of me! Because she's a sidekick so often, and god dang it! Early in the movie, you see her kick ass and save Scarlet Witch and Vision, and then you see her kick ass in Wakanda, and it's just a nice change, you ass!
Oh shit. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. What's your favorite part?
Shuri's still my favorite.
Shuri is the best. We have a friend
I want her to be Black Panther so bad!
We have a friend who hates Shuri.
Oh,
and I was shocked. Shocked.
You know what scene I really like is when they're at the Collector's Planet and Thanos reveals that it's all been an illusion and everything is really bad.
Yeah.
And then Drax and Mantis get, I don't know, kind of spiralized, like you're spiralizing a potato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they get spiralized, and I thought that was really kind of fun and gruesome.
Yeah. Cartoonishly gruesome.
And straight from the comic.
Yeah. I do like them having a whole, like, holding Drax back.
Oh, yeah.
Moment, like, because he would have just walked up and gotten killed.
Yeah.
There's literally...
I said go right!
Yeah.
Drax has my favorite line of this movie.
Oh no. Oh, he's got two.
Several
Great ones.
He's got 2, but my favorite is, "Why is Gamora?"
Yeah.
I've mastered the art of moving so slowly that you can't. You could tell James. They pulled in James to write.
Yeah.
Just the Guardians moments.
Mm.
I think my favorite moment
Space Pirate
is
Angel.
the moment straight out of the comics where you see Nebula head on, and then Gamora walks around her, and there's the reveal that she's been pulled apart.
Yeah,
I was pleasantly surprised that Nebula was in the movie. I didn't think she was going to be.
I think she's like key, man. Like she's got to take it for the Raptors. I've been waiting for that the whole time. Anyway,
You're gonna take Thanos down, calling it.
And you know, my favorite character I think was actually Thor. Still, like it carried over.
Yeah, Thor did
this version of Thor, and then getting the pathos that I felt was missing from Ragnarok, which is the part where he's talking to Raccoon, and he's literally talking to Rocket, calling him Rabbit, and that's hilarious. But then, like, you see this moment where they are empathizing with having lost everything.
Yeah.
And like Thor almost cries and is like, I can't go through it right now.
Right.
Because I've got to go fucking put an axe in this guy's chest.
Yeah.
Like, and that was just a great moment. And then him arriving was like the most satisfying arrival on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
I have so many moments in this movie, but I think the one that really stands out is when Groot goes, "I am Groot," and Captain America or Steve Rogers goes, "I am Steve Rogers." Like
without having any context.
Like, that was amazing. I was like,
Cap was very subdued in this movie.
I was like, oh, that's great.
Wait, what?
I said Cap was very subdued in this movie.
Yeah, I think he's gonna own the next one. Is the thing.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get a real shield in the next one. I think he's going to lead the self-sacrifice that is contractually probably the thing that's going to happen.
What about the Rocket and Bucky spin around?
Oh, yeah. You mean the raccoon twirl?
Yeah.
Twirl of the gun-toting raccoon. And I'm going to get that out.
That was very cute. I liked that.
It satisfied all internet memes.
Oh my god! But no, Spider-Man killed this movie. Like it was. He was
no. He got killed in this movie.
Yeah. His last scene was heartbreaking.
Oh man.
Yeah. Did you guys find it? I saw this critique online, and I want to get your opinion. Did you think
Wait,
that
I don't get to say a part?
No.
Did you guys think it was a little cheap to go for this big death when we know that they have movies and are coming back?
So I wasn't sure it'd be the new Black Panther.
Okay.
Stay dead.
No. So my take on that is no. It's not an issue because it's comic books and when do we ever hold the fact that death isn't a permanent thing against the telling of the story? Because what matters is in that moment you got hit emotionally. It wasn't until after where you were thinking about it and you like brought cold, unfeeling logic into it.
Yeah,
but no one in that moment was like, "LOL, he's not gonna stay dead." You were like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, because both parts of your brain were involved. Then you go on the internet and it's just your left side who doesn't give a shit about anything. And the fact that like it doesn't even matter that you know that Tony doesn't. You understand? Everybody who's still alive, those people are dead. It doesn't matter that we know there's another Infinity War. Dive into the fucking movie. Like, quit metagaming.
Yeah.
Like, what is your problem? Like, just you know that they are hurting, that you empathize with them. That's how this works.
Yeah, and it was and the setup. It was the setup for Tony because like this is at the end of the day. I feel like it's more of a Tony arc.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought Tony was dead.
It's a Thanos.
Oh yeah, like
it's a Thanos and Tony arc.
I thought Tony and Cap weren't making it out of this movie. It turns out that they make it out of this movie probably to choose to not make it out of the next one. I think that's what's gonna happen.
I love the
poor Guardians got decimated.
New Tony.
Well, the one thing that I saw on the internet was that Strange realized the only way to win was Tony sacrifice himself later. The only way he'd give up the Time Stone.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing is you let Thanos win, and my idea was that he actually tied the Time Stone to Tony instead of himself, so that when Tony dies, there's going to be a loop.
Yeah.
So Tony figures out how to fix it. and that if you don't let Tony have it, like if Thanos doesn't win from his perspective, you lose because he just kills everyone. You have to give the stone to him. Then he has snaps. Tony's the one that's going to survive. He has to give it to Tony, right? Because like all the Guardians are gone except Rocket, who's on Earth. The only one that's there with him is Nebula. So they're the only two on that planet that don't get blinked out, which means you have to give it to Tony because Nebula is a bad idea.
Yeah.
And probably doesn't work out. She doesn't make the right choice. So Tony has to go assemble he's the guy that's going to get back there and assemble the Avengers.
You know what I also think is going to happen is at the end of this next Ant-Man and Wasp movie, the stinger is going to be what Ant-Man was doing during Infinity War. And I think that's going to come into play because, as Hank Pym said, once you go into the microverse, time and space unravel.
Well, we were just talking about that, too, as a possible resolution. Because I talked about, I think there's going to be a time loop involved. And then I was like, what if the stuff we had, the pictures, like the Ronin or Hawkeye stuff, actually wasn't cut out? It's that they go get him and redo the stuff on the planet with him and Ant-Man later.
Yep. See, a lot of so many people think that they're just going to take the Reality Stone and reset things, and I think that's not what's going to happen. It's too obvious. They're not going to go that route.
Well, you also might just use the Soul Stone and make a sacrifice.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I think is going to happen because the original Avengers are all still around, and they're going to swap.
You know what's going to happen is Ant-Man is going to shrink down and climb up Thanos' butthole and then grow to giant size and explode.
Go in his ear and then
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, is Ant-Man going to sue Dibney Thanos?
Oh,
I was thinking like Hawkeye and Ant-Man teaming up. Hawkeye shoots an arrow to Thanos. Thanos just catches and then Ant-Man hops on the gauntlet and he's like, oh, party time.
Jumps into the Soul Stone.
Yeah, frees everybody.
Yeah.
You know what? That was actually their super attack in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 if you're Hawkeye. An arrow, catch it, and Ant-Man jumps off, turns into Giant Man.
Yeah, and just
okay, so here's the thing. This has a similar to a Street Fighter problem, though. And what I mean by that is there's one villain and 50 people with a personal stake in stopping him. So who deserves to actually take out Thanos?
Tony.
Tony deserves it. I think Gamora and Nebula just...
Murder on the Orient Express. They all stab him once at the same time.
It's all Caesar. It's just Caesar. Everybody does their final attack at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, I thought...
Yeah, that is
I'm
true.
still calling this, at some point in the next movie, Hulk will pick up Stormbreaker. And that will be a key moment.
Yeah.
But that might kill Thanos, but it won't be the thing that resets everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I really think, like, Nebula or Gamora deserve the final straw.
Nebula.
All right. So, moving on from Avengers, even though Matthew never got to say his favorite part because you guys are
Matthew, what was your favorite part?
Who cares?
No, Matt, you can tell me. What's your favorite part, buddy?
My favorite part was when Star-Lord throws a bomb on Thanos and then jumps through a Doctor Strange portal and goes, boom.
that is the most gifable moment.
Yeah.
And my favorite character was, of course, my boy Petey. Because he's just the best.
Yeah.
Peter Parker. Petey.
Oh. Don't call him Petey.
Spidey.
Yeah, Spidey killed it. Oh, man.
All right.
Let's
So,
move on.
we're moving on to something where we will still be slightly careful about spoilers because Chris is a big jerk and he hasn't watched it yet.
Uh-huh.
Or played it yet. Let's talk God of War.
All right. Well, I'm not completely finished with it, but I think I'm midway.
Oh, Josh, what part are you at?
Sweet summer child.
Oh, I know, right? I'm at the giant. I'm at the giant. At the part where I'm like climbing up the giant.
Oh my God! That's like the halfway point.
That's halfway.
You have some motherfucking revelations.
So good. So good.
Okay. Look,
Seems like it.
the story of God of War got to the point where I was not allowed to play unless she was there because she didn't want to miss a moment. She didn't want to miss dialogue. She didn't want to miss like throwaway stories while you're rowing on the boat from your companion. She didn't want to miss a thing, and it's so good.
So good.
Like at no point did I ever think I'd go, a God of War game has one of the best narratives and redemption tales.
Oh, it's great. Like it's a great setting. I love the reveal with Freya. I had a feeling like when I first. Okay, what? No. Okay, all right.
No, but yeah, when you realize that that's Freya, you're like, oh, snap and a half.
Yeah, that was great. You know, the Ballard thing was great. I'm like, okay, this is getting really good. You know, the World Serpent, holy fuck. That was great. Like, there's the little things in this game. And
The first boss battle against Baldur is just, he just said who it was. It's not a spoiler to him. But no, it was redonk. So.
Yeah, it was insane. Like, it was, and like having like a knowledge of Norse mythology, it's great playing this game because it's just a whole different perspective.
Okay, question. Who's your favorite dwarf?
My favorite dwarf? Fuck both of them.
Whoa, no.
No!
Because the agoraphobic dwarf is the best dwarf.
Factual.
The Sindar, yeah. He's great. No,
Every time you give him
great
your axe
too.
and he vomits because it's covered in actual like
he's not even strong enough to really like take the axe.
yeah, he won't even touch it. He's just
Yeah.
But he's like, I just cleaned that!
Yeah.
Can I just stop and thank Banner Saga once again for bringing North
right.
mythology to
Oh,
life?
yeah.
No, so Josh, I'm just gonna tell you this right now. And I've had about a week and a half to ruminate on this. Because at first I was worried that it was hyperbole freshly beating the game. God of War is now neck and neck with Witcher 3 as the best game to come out of this entire generation of games.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was actually having a conversation with someone at work about Witcher 3, and just the way the narrative worked in that game was so perfect because there's so many little mini stories that are all slightly connected with the main arc, but they're all written by different people. And I really like that that's what they did at CD Projekt Red. I'm really excited about Cyberpunk being that same concept where you have all these different writers writing these little stories, but they're all pieced together really nicely. And that's going to be at E3 alongside with Elder Scrolls 6.
Starfield?
Huh?
You're not getting Elder Scrolls 6. You're getting Starfield and damn it, I wish we were done talking about God of War because that would have been the perfect segue.
Because there's going to be another God of War, isn't there?
Well, obviously, the game ends on a massive cliffhanger.
Yeah.
There is a secret ending in the game. When you beat the game, I'll tell you what to do. Just don't look it up because you don't want it spoiled at all.
Okay. It was spoiled for me. Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah, Chris got spoiled because he's an idiot and looks up YouTube.
I didn't look it up. It was recommended.
I know.
It was recommended by the evil YouTube.
Like that's the shitty thing. So many people got spoiled on God of War because like the thumbnails and people named their videos like Kratos versus this, and it's like assholes.
Yeah, secret ending. Kratos does blank. It's like, oh,
okay.
Well, fuck me, I guess.
Yeah, don't spoil it for me, please do. Don't spoil it for me.
Yeah, Josh, I gotta tell you, you're about to enter a moment that is gonna blow your mind, and I want you to text me the moment you get to it.
Okay.
Now you want to know.
Oh wait, I'm building a gaming computer. I just get a controller. I can play this fucking.
Okay, so anyway, God of War is amazing. The axe throwing mechanic is the best thing in a video game.
The comments just beautiful. It's
if Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix don't copy the axe throwing mechanic wholesale for Thor in their upcoming Avengers game, missed opportunity.
Oh, I also wanted to bring that up. What's going on? Square Enix is going to have a
conference. The last time they had a conference was 3 years ago, and that's when they announced Nier, Final Fantasy 15. They announced I Am Setsuna. They announced all kinds of RPGs. So the first thing, we're finally going to get a release date of Kingdom Hearts 3. That's the big one.
Yeah.
I would say we'd get footage of Final Fantasy VII Remake, but we just got word that they fired the development studio they hired to get the game back on track. So they're basically rebooting from ground zero on that. We're never getting that game.
You think we're going to see Final Fantasy 16?
We will probably get the first teaser of the next Final Fantasy game. They're only going to do this if they have actual gigantic bombshells to drop.
They have to.
So but you got to remember, Square Enix is also more than RPGs. We'll probably get the first gameplay footage of Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, God of War is.
Anyway, hey Josh, real quick, why don't you go back and tell me and say what you were saying about Elder Scrolls 6, so I can segue into the next topic.
So, oh shit. Elder Scrolls 6 will be at E3 as the little teaser of like.
Because you know what it is? They got leaked today.
What? Rage
2 from Bethesda. Remember Rage on Xbox 360 and PS3?
Yeah. You know,
Rage 2, baby, coming.
No. Yeah.
Well,
what I am excited to see is Metroid Prime at the Nintendo conference.
Now, here's the thing. So today, Walmart Canada accidentally opened up pre-orders for all of the games that are going to be announced at E3. So for a brief period of time,
all of the games though.
So you could pre-order Just Cause 4, Borderlands 3, the new Splinter Cell, Rage 2, Assassin's Creed, which we don't know is going to be a remake of the original or a placeholder for a brand new game. New Forza, new Gears of War, new Dragon Quest XI, and Lego DC Villains. So all of those got leaked today by Walmart Canada, and I felt so bad. The marketing director of Bethesda was so mad because the Rage Twitter account confirmed it.
Wow. They didn't have a nice answer to it. It's like wrong font.
It was hilarious. But then a fan asked him, when's Doom 2? And he goes, I don't know. Why don't you buy a Magic 8-Ball from Walmart and fucking find out? And I was like, oh, my boy, I feel so bad for you. That's not great.
I'm still thinking Elder Scrolls 6. I know.
Okay, buddy. I know we have a bet on it. You're going to buy me a
I'm going to buy you a hot dog. A delicious hot dog. With one topping of your choice.
Sure. By that, you already agreed to buy me a PlayStation Network card.
Yeah, whatever.
So,
it's all documented. So, yeah.
Yay. So, yeah. Oh, man. I just feel so bad for those teams. You work so hard. Because Bethesda's really good at keeping things secret.
Yeah, they are. Like Elder Scrolls 6.
Until they announced it at E3. Doom. Wolfenstein. Like, none of these games were known ahead of time. Bethesda was the last bastion. And it wasn't even a leak, like an internal leak or a media leak. It was because retailers like GameStop and Walmart require this information so far in advance so they can open up pre-orders. And they opened up pre-orders on accident.
That's just
like someone put 5.9 instead of 6.5.
Yeah, who? That's just
someone. All right, I'll tell you right now, someone's fired.
Yeah,
like they are gone.
I'm trying to look for more information about like the
a boot.
A boot.
What?
A boot.
A boot.
So, question for you, Josh. Real quick, this is about God of War, okay?
Yeah.
What do you think is a better name for a title? Wait, hold on, I'm trying to find it. Dang it, hold on. Keep talking. Start talking amongst yourselves.
For a better title for
like so every time someone makes an official post for a game, they always have like a funny subtitle for the game, the thread title. So like the first one was God of War, : The Godfather. And I thought that was really good.
Yeah,
But then it got so big that they had to make a second one, and the second title was Mad Dad Redemption.
Oh man.
Well,
Oh,
I can't decide which one's better. They're both so good,
I like Mad Dad Redemption.
right?
So do I.
I'm just a fan of puns, and that's just good stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of Red Dead Redemption, we got our new trailer,
We got a lot of things about
and boy, does that game look boring.
it.
No, I honestly think I might be one of the only people who gives zero shits about Red Dead.
It looks really good. It looks really
Sure. So did Grand Theft Auto 5, and after 5 hours, I was bored and moved on.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of people playing the online.
Of course, no, it's one of the most successful and lucrative games of all time, and I can't wait for Red Dead's 100-man battle royale mode, where you can ride in the DeLorean or the Wild Wild West mech spider.
Okay, well,
Or the Iron Giant.
yeah, I did.
Guns, pew pew.
But I do. Yeah, I do also feel like this is a game that I'm going to skip as well.
It's just it comes out at a time. It's late October, early November, and that's just such a huge time for all these other games. And a game like a Rockstar game is not a game you can burn through. That is a time commitment.
Yeah, and I don't have.
I will take that back. There is one game in the Red Dead series I liked, and that was PS2's Red Dead Revolver. That most people forget is actually part of the series.
Yeah,
that was a fun one. That was an action game.
I'm excited for it.
It's good because we need more Western games. But what you gonna do? Anyway.
what are you gonna do?
What else you got, Chris? Let's talk any comic news.
I got a couple of tidbits.
All right, you start. I'll be right back.
Cool, thanks. So how do you guys feel about Bill and Ted the Third?
Yeah, I just found out about this, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, there's.
Especially the title, which is, did we lose everybody?
No, I think we just.
Oh, I'm still here, just not on camera. Josh don't look like that.
Which is Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yeah, it's a great title.
But the thing is, it better be that this entire world is because somebody fucked with time, and they have to fix it to get the band together or some shit like that.
Oh, get the band back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because somebody's broken them up or whatever, so there's no peace on Earth, and we're living here instead.
Oh, yeah.
But that needs to be the premise, and if it's not, I'm going to be like, oh, missed opportunity.
My only issue is that I'm very wary about sequels that come out more than 5 years after their last movie.
What about like 20?
Oh, no, it's
Yeah, or 30.
I'm just
25 years?
So, I don't know. I mean,
was amazing.
maybe it might be great. I'm not super confident ahead of time, so.
I like the team that's doing it, though. It's
Yes.
the Quest director. Soderbergh's one of the producers. They've got the original two back, obviously. And it's being
I'm glad they seem excited to come back.
Yeah, and the creators who are writing this one, who wrote the original, have done some pretty good stuff in between.
Yeah.
Like this. So, like, they might be better writers than they've ever been and are going back to this. That could be bad, because they could not know how to write.
Right, they don't know how to write, yeah.
Or they could be better at it, I mean, like, we're either going to get Dumb and Dumber 2, which is blows, or, the stupid version of Blade Runner 2049, which is great. There's really no other way to do it. Because after this long, it's going to suck if it's not great.
Yeah, we're sure as hell going to find out. Hey, the original Iron Man armor got stolen. Did you guys hear that?
Oh.
The original armor from Iron Man 1.
The gray metal plate?
No, the full colored one.
Okay, the
Mach 3
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gone.
Wow.
It's like $300,000.
Well, they should check who wins the next cosplay.
It's Iron Man.
Man, really well done.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess I gotta wonder, like where was it the whole time? Was it in storage and someone nicked it in storage?
No,
I would have thought that would have been in like Disney World or some museum.
Was it at Planet Hollywood?
It was just sitting in a Planet
There
Hollywood.
aren't any Planet Hollywoods.
Yeah, maybe there's one left, and it's had the Iron Man armor in it.
Yeah, it's just like
That guy's getting so fired by the regional manager.
I know. They're Jesus. What kind of?
There's a
Wow.
bunch of family videos still open too. Anyway,
Yeah. How do you feel about Jamie Foxx as being Spawn?
way better than. I mean, like that sounds
Michael
great.
Jai White?
Yeah, I mean Michael J. White. I love him as Black Dynamite, but like that was a really low rent movie. Like,
What are you talking about? It had Martin Sheen in it. It was great.
yeah, he did that because his kid wanted him to. And then why hire John Leguizamo to play in prosthetics and on his knees Danny DeVito? Why don't you just hire
He's not a clown for you. You can't just snap your fingers and have Danny DeVito.
Yes, you can.
You cannot. Wait a minute. What was that, 97? That was like Matilda, Danny DeVito. You probably could have gotten him.
Yeah.
Well, we have nuggets of information about the DC streaming service.
Oh Lord.
It's called DC Universe, which is a surprise to I think no one. We have our first images of Titans, which I think we've talked about on previous shows, and it looks weird. We have a rumor that they're going to try to do a Swamp Thing show in 2019. What? Yeah, so
Who
people
cares about Swamp Thing?
Yeah, I know. It's just
I don't know. The last time they tried Swamp Thing was in the 80s, and it was just what it was. I think you can do better now.
Well, I think you can definitely do better, and if you do like the Alan Moore Swamp Thing, that's amazing.
But are they going to be able to do the Alan Moore Swamp Thing?
They can do that Swamp Thing. The thing is,
They should just do the Scott Snyder Swamp Thing because that one was way better.
the thing is, like, well, you move from the Alan Moore into the Scott Snyder. I mean, you got it's just like, or you mix them together. The way Daredevil did with all the definitive runs of Daredevil, they kind of hodgepodge together some stuff from Frank Miller, some stuff from Kevin Smith, some stuff from David Mack, you know, stuff from Bendis. My thing is like, what the fuck is up with them and their Vertigo property? Vertigo should be its own thing that they are just pumping out right now because they would be killing it. But in fact, I don't even know why any of these adult turn all their not adult properties into these dark adult things.
And their adult properties.
But their adult properties are just becoming stupid shows on Fox.
I'll tell you why, because it's hard, and all the other properties have been ripped off by other things. No one's going to watch Fables when you got 7 seasons of Once Upon a Time out there.
Yeah.
7?
That makes me so upset.
Yeah.
But the thing is, fuck Fables anyway. The thing is, that's like 15th generation Vertigo.
But Sandman's too hard.
Sandman's not hard if you fucking do what you're supposed to do with it.
I mean, it's too hard because it's been 20 years and it's not happening. Something is holding it up, and I'm thinking it's just too hard.
It's not too hard. They keep trying to turn it into something it isn't. It's hard for DC and Warner Brothers because they want to turn I think the thing is that Neil's got more control than we understand, and has some sort of veto power in his contract. He's very good at this shit.
And Warner Brothers likes having a lot of control.
When they decided in the 90s or whatever, when they were trying to do it, they decided to make the whole third act a fist fight with the Corinthian.
Yeah.
And he had a cape and shit. And it was like, this isn't a superhero movie. So then they started doing the Joseph Gordon-Levitt stuff, and they fired whatever director he had picked as producer, and they hired a horror guy, and I bet you they were going to turn it into, it's fucking Game of Thrones in your mind. That's all you have to do. It's a fantasy. It's high fantasy. It's horror. It's also kind of from a comic book, but that doesn't mean it's a superhero book.
Yeah.
And they don't understand those properties. They try to turn Watchmen into a superhero book. It's a deconstruction of superheroes. And that's going to be an HBO show soon. And I think that's what they should really be doing with stuff like Sandman, because it's not something that can take that can be done in 2 hours. You know, Why the Last Man is supposed to be an FX show. That's the right time.
Yeah, that's very right.
You know, I don't know if it's still happening, but it's better than hearing it's going to be a movie. Preacher's on the air right now, and it's great.
You know what? I'm thinking of Why the Last Man we've been hearing about that as an FX show for so long that I think it just doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it was supposed to be a movie first, and then Shia LaBeouf was attached, and then that died, right? And then it's been like 2-3 years since they announced that FX was doing it, but we never heard any casting, so I'm assuming that also fell apart.
And it's also like how like Hulu was supposed to be doing Lock and Key, and then
that got canceled.
It didn't happen.
Well, I think it's similar to like how whenever they try to do a Halo movie, Bungie has veto rights. You start like they get to approve the script and all this other stuff. So like if you start doing Hollywood shit, they'll go, no, we'll take our license back, and they can just do that. And I think with Vertigo, those creators, especially the early ones, have a lot more control over those properties than fucking Alan Moore has no control over Swamp Thing. That's a DC character that he brought into the Vertigo comic, that got turned into a Vertigo comic, right? But Neil invented the Sandman.
Yeah.
And all of the characters in it, except when Dr. Fate shows up or something, right? Or Swamp Thing does. Alan Moore created Constantine. But he doesn't have control over it because he appeared in Swamp Thing first. So nobody has control over it. So they can just make a shitty show and burn it off. But when you talk about, why the Last Man, I'm sure Vaughn at that point in his career even had a little bit more say, because this is back when What's-Her-Face was in control of Vertigo. And it was still almost creator-owned. Like, DC was kind of licensing it from him to a certain degree. Yeah. Now, they kind of do what they want in comics, but I think Neil's really good with contracts, and he's probably got more control than we know.
Possibly.
Like he makes a lot of money on everything he's got. Anyway.
Yeah. Matt, what did you think of the Teen Titans Go trailer?
Oh, fucking loved it. This movie is going to be the best thing DC's put out ever that's not called Wonder Woman.
I agree.
Have you seen it, Josh and Doug?
No, why would I ever be interested in that?
Because it is the most self-aware it's DC's Deadpool, is what it is.
Okay.
It lampoons DC in a way I never thought they would do in a real movie. Plus, Nicolas Cage is Superman.
Finally.
And he voices a terrible Superman, and I'm so for it.
I just don't care.
Seriously, watch the trailer after the show's over.
I'll watch it. But
It's so good. Also, Will Arnett is Deathstroke.
You can't lead people to Teen Titans Go. They must discover it on their own.
No, you have to lead them.
No, you can't, because they're going to look at it and go, that's stupid.
But there's a Deadpool movie coming out real soon.
There is.
In Domino, in Shatterstar.
And Teen Titans Go comes out way after that, so what's the problem?
Did you mention that Shatterstar is in this movie?
Yeah, I can't believe we live in a time where Shatterstar is in a movie. And I've said this about every obscure character that Marvel's thrown in a movie, like Ego and Drax. I have to keep updating this every couple of years.
Yeah, Shatterstar. I'm really excited about this.
Well, we'll see.
It's
but here's my thing is that means Dazzler and Longshot are somewhere.
They're yes. Oh my God.
One long shot in a movie. But Chris, to wrap it up before we end the night, I did want to comment on something.
What?
Did you read Detective Comics?
I sure fucking did.
Did you enjoy the fact that we got a throwback to the original DC universe with Stephanie Brown Batgirl and Cassandra Cain Batgirl?
Yes, I did, and I'll tell you a lot of feelings that it made me feel. Mostly happy.
I just love anything with OMAC. I mean, Brother Eye. Has Brother Eye ever let us down?
He's not, but I think Brother Eye is dangerously close to wearing out his welcome.
You think?
Well, he shows up a lot.
When was all right? Honest question. When was the last time he showed up?
The last time, I think, was Future's End.
Correct.
And then he was in a lot of stuff before that.
That's fair.
He shows up a lot.
Did you read part 1 of Scott Snyder's No Justice?
I sure did.
Post Metal.
It's okay. It's okay. I thought it was interesting. I didn't love it, and I didn't really hate it. I thought it was fine.
I'm not sure how I feel about the team makeups, but we'll see.
We'll see. I don't know. I think it's okay. Did you get Squirrel Girl with the new ongoing artist?
Oh, so I thought this was a one-off.
No, Erica Henderson left.
Why?
Because she's moving on to other things.
Why?
Talk to her. I don't know.
I don't know. Yes, I did.
I don't fucking care. But Derek Charm is the new artist, and he's pretty good.
Where she goes to do an escape room with Craven.
Yeah.
Yeah. She goes to an escape room with Craven. They decide to hang out in their civilian clothes.
Because Craven is sometimes villainous, so she thinks that if she hangs out with him as civilians, it'll temper his villainy.
Also, Craven has a badass van with an airbrushed...
I love it.
Of course he does.
Love.
Okay, this artist is kind of pretty good. Okay. All right.
Love. I also read Domino #2. That's the last book I read this week.
Okay. Well, I read... Oh, what'd you think of Domino?
It's Gail Simone, so it reads very much like a Gail Simone book. It's a little bawdy, it's a little violent, and I kind of like it so far. So we'll see.
Word.
What do you got? You got Batman White Knight?
The finale.
Oh, it's done?
This was a really good series. It was an 8-part miniseries.
Cool.
Joker won the day.
Oh.
He was a hero.
That's not okay.
And then he reverted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got married to Harley Quinn.
Oh. Interesting.
A lot of weddings happening.
Yeah.
Well, they're going back. People can actually be in love now, so, you know.
Yeah.
Unless you're gay, in which case, get that shit out of here.
Finally, Brian K. Vaughan had a new series that debuted on Free Comic Book Day.
Christ.
And it's
been talk to his wife. The amount of stuff that he's writing.
And it's coming. It's a 5-issue series, and it comes out once a week, so it's going to be done by next month. It's called Barrier, and it's a series. Half the book, yeah, it's all vertical.
Oh, that's obnoxious. I don't like that.
It's a series where half the book is in Spanish because it's about it's told in 2 perspectives: an illegal trying to cross the country in America, and a woman who owns a ranch on the border who's being ousted by drug lords. And the first issue deals with that. And then Brian K. Vaughan hits you with a fucking left hook, and both of those people get abducted by aliens. Guess what? It's a sci-fi space opera, motherfuckers.
Of course it is.
With 2 people who don't understand each other. Did not see that twist coming at all. So good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got for today.
Do you? So let me ask you this: we have this top 100 video games from IGN. When do you want to start talking about that?
The first 5 tonight.
Let's do the first 5.
Avengers and God of War kind of took up a lot of our chunk of our time.
That's fine. Okay, so this is IGN's top 100 video games of all time. It's pretty recent, so you know there's not going to be weird things like Galaxy High on here. But,
there was never a Galaxy High video.
What year was this made?
I believe this year, or like within the last couple of years. You'll know because number 100 is Pokemon Go.
Okay. I will grant that it's a very important game.
Is it even a game?
Yes.
The game.
There are game elements. You go out and you catch Pokemon.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to like it, but it is by definition a game.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Risk is a game.
No. Why isn't Risk on this list?
Oh my god. I don't care for Pokemon Go, so whatever.
All right, moving on.
I need the Pokemon Go to the polls.
Matt, this will make you super happy.
Oh?
Number 99 is Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say 6, and I was going to fucking backhand somebody.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where Final Fantasy VII belongs.
Final Fantasy VII definitely deserves to be number 99.
Oh,
I don't think it deserves to be 9. I think it could be higher than that.
You're right. It could be 105.
Pokemon Go can even make this list due to importance. Then Final Fantasy VII deserves to be higher. than
I would jump Final Fantasy VII up at least 30 points.
Yeah.
Would.
But then again, I'm a little more forgiving of it than you are. You are very anti.
It's a decent game. It's just not. It's not the best Final Fantasy. It's not even the best PS1 Final Fantasy.
You know what it is. You know what it is. I pinpointed this. You're just mad at Final Fantasy VII because everyone says it's great, and you keep pushing 6 as the best.
Well, first of all, I'm not the only one that pushes 6. Everyone that
You're the most vocal person I know that pushes 6.
I agree. I know. I
the
agree.
media pushes 6.
No, 6 is the better Final Fantasy.
Most people I've talked to.
I push back against 7 because it is inexplicably blown up because it was so many people's first Final Fantasy, and it was the first cinematic Final Fantasy. So it's like Ocarina of Time for Zelda. It just became the one people associate with the franchise, and it annoys me because it's nowhere near the best, but it is the most prolific. And so anytime something Final Fantasy comes out, whether it's merchandise or a spin-off or something, it's always 7.
Well, it's also that's like it's like the comic book boom, right? Like you've got everybody. More people are going to remember shit from the mid '90s than almost any other period.
Correct.
Of comics. So there's a lot of like the X-Men cartoon is the Final Fantasy VII of X-Men, right? It is what everybody thinks the X-Men are. When they think of Rogue with flight and super strength and looking like Charlize Theron with brown hair. They don't think of, her with a lesbian haircut when all she could do was steal powers.
Yeah.
Which is my first experience of Rogue. They don't think of Shadowcat being on the team at all.
Yeah.
Most of them don't know that Shadowcat is the model for your X-Men entryway character, and that Jubilee bullshit, and so's Armor. They're just repeats of the Shadowcat formula, where they're best friends with Wolverine, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I get your frustration, and most people I talk to that played Final Fantasy from the pre-PlayStation days forward think 6 is the best. But for me, 7 is my introduction to the series, and it hasn't inflated over time. It actually probably deflated over time, because right when Final Fantasy came out, 7 came out, it was called the greatest game ever made by lots of sources. And that has deflated over time because you get to actually think about it and contextualize everything. But at the time, it blew everything outside of the fucking water.
Oh, it did.
Nothing looked like that and did that. Nobody had pulled off an RPG at that level of graphics yet.
I will say it also annoys me because Final Fantasy Tactics came out around the same time and was completely overshadowed.
Tactics is my favorite.
Yeah, Tactics.
It's a weird thing.
Honest question: have you ever replayed it?
Yes.
Which Tactics?
How recently?
7. Oh god, when was it released on the PS4? Couple years ago? 3 years ago?
Okay.
I mean, look, I appreciate it. It's just it bothers me that most of its main story beats are lifted straight from 6.
Yeah, I get that.
First half is they just replaced an empire with an evil corporation, but there's still an underground resistance, and your character gets recruited into it, and your character actually has a mysterious past that has to deal with magic. And then halfway through the game, JK, that corporation / empire isn't the true villain. It's that one person that was part of that group, and now they've achieved godhood, and they're threatening. Except, unlike 7, where you have a whiny mama's boy, you have a god who destroyed the world.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Number 98 is Galaga.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't know.
This is already starting to be like, because there's all these Atari arcade cabinet games.
Yeah, Pac-Man's going to be on there. Tetris.
Come in here and be the Scooby-Doo versus Evangelion that just happened on the animation list.
It's the exact same problem because, I wouldn't put Galaga on this
like
list.
Centipede better than Grand Theft Auto 4.
What?
That's the issue is how do you balance, games that were great during their time?
Centipede, let me ask you that.
What? A lot more.
97, Warcraft 2, Tides of Darkness. Matt, you're the real-time strategy guy. Is that the right place for it?
Warcraft 2 is good. Warcraft 3 is phenomenal. But Warcraft 2 was like the big one for ages. So I can see that being there, yeah.
Okay. Number 96, Star Wars TIE Fighter. This was my personal favorite. This was extremely expanded universe heavy. It was the first introduction I had to Thrawn. So it's pretty cool. And I liked it.
Okay.
Number 95, the last one we're going to do tonight, is the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So when Oregon Trail beat out Final Fantasy VII, that is amazing.
This is proof of like what's going to affect this list this year is has it become a meme? Then it gets way more points than it should. Because the Oregon Trail, you have died of dysentery, is just thrown around like it's basically vernacular now.
Yeah. But I remember being in grade school dying of dysentery.
And this is the game I think that's the most interesting because this is the game that we know as of our generation, everyone played.
Oh yeah, this was the one you played at school.
I just remember you put people's names in that you didn't like and hope they died of dysentery.
Oh, of course. this game was right up there with Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, it's like you know, you guys didn't play TIE Fighter or I didn't play Warcraft 2, but we all played the Oregon Trail and Carmen Sandiego.
Oregon Trail. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is the fantastic trail.
Oh my God.
So let me ask you this: Who made it to Oregon?
I made it like a couple times. When
As
I
a
actually
kid or as an
tried,
adult?
There was a river that I always messed up on where I would be like, "Yeah, let's just float, sink."
you never want to fjord the river.
Oh, and you know, like it's great because it's still influencing games today. Because you know, I've
Banner Saga.
championed Banner Saga already. One of the great things about that game is that it's not just the you know, strategy real time, you know, like the strategy RPG, but it's got like Oregon Trail to take you from place to place,
Right.
which is a great other mechanic to just throw in.
Oh shit! The wagon's fallen. The giant. All the giants have died.
You lost all your shit and all your giants.
Hey, Doug, you ever make it to Oregon?
No. I never.
Not even. I think I made it halfway before everyone.
I'm like you, Chris. I rarely beat things, and it takes me forever to get around to them.
You know what? This is your year. You can do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it to Oregon this year, but I'm gonna do it in real life, like a
I know.
grown-up.
I think
That's boring.
do
And then I'm gonna get high when I get there.
Yeah.
Can you get dysentery for real?
Yeah, that's it.
But the
But I
good
won't
thing,
die of it.
yeah, good thing is you won't die of dysentery now because of modern medicine.
All right, so we did it. Those are the top. Those are the bottom 5 from IGN's 100 video games of all time. We'll be checking back with the next 5 next week.
Why don't we just go? I think next week's episode should be all of the list.
You know what? I'm down with that. Unless there's some like major
Because
there's something that happens, I'm down.
Okay.
yeah,
I'm
there's
fine with that too. I don't care.
Yeah,
Alright.
cool happens soon, but not next week.
All right. All right. I'm Chris. Thanks for coming by, you guys. We are done. We will be back next week. Same time, same location. We'll be back on episode 2. Thanks for checking out episode 1.
And this next time, Matt actually explains why he's a Nazi now.
Yes.
All right.
What
Everybody
time?
get weird Illuminati symbols.